one other announcement before we get started. So we're going to continue with these noon classes. Also today, I am going to be teaching a restorative class at 2:30. So it's an emphasis for caregivers because I just think it feels really important to be doing everything that we can to nourish our caregivers at this time. And I know that many of you fall into that category as well, whether you are serving in a caregiving capacity personally or professionally. Or if you just love a good, restorative practice, tune in. And I can look forward to seeing you then. So hamstrings, Carol, I got you. So my other announcement is be on the lookout for an update to our website, as well as probably an email coming to you if you're on our list, because we will be sending out some additional information about some other classes that we're looking at. People have really asked how can they support these free classes, and trust me when I say we'd welcome that opportunity. So we'll be issuing some further guidance on all of that. All right. So I'm going to mute you all. And just as a reminder, we'll practice for about 50 minutes today. And then the invitation is to stick around for a chat. And if you need to jump off at any time, I understand that as well. If you can give yourself of staying through Shavasana, our final pose of rest, I encourage you to do that just to really allow your body to have a little bit of that time. So we'll get started, yeah? All right, let yourself find a comfortable position. I'm going to suggest today starting in a seated position, if that works for you. So maybe you perch yourself up on a pillow, a blanket, whatever helps you. Maybe you find a cross-legged position, Sukhasana. Whatever you can do, just let yourself sit up tall here. And right away, allow your hands to just rest. I'm going to ask today, consider bringing the palms to rest, palms facing up to the sky, so that the backs of the hands rest on the thighs. And then if you could here, see if you could soften the gaze, maybe even the eyes close. And turning the attention inward, as well as your intention coming inward. Your intention for being here, your intention for practicing. And whether it is just to carve out a few moments for yourself, whether it is to move some of the energy that's been a little bit stuck in your body, whether it's to be in community, a commitment to self-care, a commitment to collective care, whatever it is for you, just allow that to start to land a little bit more in your heart space. And allow the breath to come in. Allow the breath to go out. And do that a few times. Take a breath in. And out. Inhale. Exhale. And then just let the breath continue to move in your body here. Maybe your ears could open to just receive this short passage. And today I'm reading from the Yamas and the Niyamas by Deborah Adele. She speaks about the yogic principle of ahimsa, or nonviolence. She says, ahimsa invites us to question the feeling of powerlessness rather than accept it. When we feel powerless, we have forgotten how much choice we really have. We have a choice to take action, and we have a choice to change the story we are telling ourselves about our powerlessness. Instead of sulking in the feeling, we can ask, what do I need to do right now to feel competent to handle this situation? During these times, we can also jumpstart ourselves by remembering past times when we successfully handled a challenging situation while remaining loving and whole, and then trying to find that feeling again. And so you've already taken action. You showed up for yourself, for your practice today. So invite in some gratitude for that. Gratitude that others have chosen to do the same. And we'll send a collective intention to our individual communities as well as the world at large, that we all step into a place where things may be spiraling, that we can find our center, stay grounded, and recognize the choices that we have. Allow your hands to come somewhere where they're meaningful to you. Maybe they come to prayer position in front of your heart. And you're welcome to join me for an opening Om, or just allow the vibrations to wash over you. We'll take an inhale to prepare. Om. And then bowing chin to chest. Gently flutter the eyes open, release the hands. And again, we'll meet in an easy seat, a comfortable cross-legged position. So from your easy seat here, if you've already been sitting in this position, I'm going to suggest switching the cross of your legs. So switching the cross of the legs just allows the hips to find a little bit more opening on both sides. And then arms can come by your sides. Sweep them all the way up on the inhale and comb it away on the exhale. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lowers. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Breath comes in. Breath goes out. This time, inhale to sweep all the way up overhead. Big stretch up. And then twist to the right. Pause here. Consider letting your hand, the back of the left hand, rest on the front thigh. Sit up tall through the spine. And without overdoing it, elevate and lift the heart space. And find your twist. The gaze can start walking behind you. Perhaps even the eyes. Walk a little bit further on that back wall. We'll take an in-breath here. And an out breath. Your inhale brings you back to center. And pause. And then again, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, release. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more times. This time, inhale to sweep up high, and then twist left. Again, the right fingers could rest on that left thigh, sitting up tall all the way from the base of the spine through the crown of the head, and then start rotating the head back behind you as well. Breathe in. Breathe out. Another inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Inhale brings you back through center. And then exhale, release. Draw your chin down towards your chest. Interlace hands behind your head. With the fingers just really lightly interlaced here, move the elbows back behind you, but let the chin continue to lower down. Push down into your seat, and then gently start to lift the head. Good. From here, we're going to take just a little bit of side to side action. So twisting right through center, twist left through center. Good. Inhale. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, center. Good. One more time each side. Lovely. Reach arms out to the sides. Take up some space here. And then hands come behind your back. If interlacing hands behind your back in Yoga Mudra doesn't feel great in your body, just grab onto your hips. Either way, opening up through the chest here, move the tailbone down, make sure it's long. And then drop the right ear over to the right shoulder. Hands can stay right at the small of back or start moving that fist over to the left hip. Now drop the left shoulder away from the ear. It wants to creep up there. You're creating length. Bring the head back through center. Hands come through center. Go right to the opposite side. Left ear dips down. Fist can move over to the right hip. All the while, giving that right shoulder permission to relax away from the ear. And then bring it through center. And release. All right, switch the cross of your legs again. And then this time bring your arms to goalpost. We're just gonna take a little bit of twisting action side to side here. So take a breath in. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Right. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Now let's move here. Side to side. You determine the pace that is appropriate for you. See if it feels good to take a little pause in the middle, or if you just want to keep shifting side to side here. Let the spine continue to elevate and lengthen. And your obliques are getting in on the action here to hold you strong and finding some mobility. The shoulders may start to fatigue, and that's okay. If that happens, you can also just bring your hands down so the shoulders can relax, but the chest still gets to open and finding some twist here. Your fingers may start to fatigue, and that's okay too. So take what you need with that. And we'll keep going here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release it down. Good. Take a deep breath in. Lion's breath out. Let it go. One more. All right. Let's make our way into Tadasana pose. So you can do it seated or standing. If you're taking the seated version, I'm going to suggest doing it in a chair. If you don't have a chair, you can also just stay comfortably seated on the earth. All right. Either way, seated or standing Tadasana. If you've been practicing with me this past week, you may notice I try to provide a lot of options here. So I want you to take something that works for you. All right. Either way, let the toes spread really wide. And while you're at it, spread the fingers wide. There's something about when you spread your fingers wide, the toes get the message that they get to spread too, right? And then relax the toes down towards the earth. You'll come up high onto the balls of your feet into tippy top pose. And then all the way back into the heels. Good, let's do that a few times. You can rock forward into the balls of the feet and back into the heels. Good, come all the way leaning to the right and all the way to the left. Good, do that a few times. Beautiful. And then find your center position here. Tadasana pose, and then reach arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, twist to the right. Arms can come out wide. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Twist left. Good, one more time, each side. You take the arms in any variation that works for you, including in the space that you have. One more time. And then back through center and release it down. Shrug out the shoulders a few times. And then we're going to work our way again from the ground up. So roll out the ankles. Crack the toes a few times. Circle at the opposite foot. Crack those toes a few times. If helpful for stability, grab onto a chair or a wall. Just hinge the knee. Massaging all the joints. On the opposite side. All right, and then take some big hip circles. If you're seated, these hip circles could come in the same way that we're doing standing, or you could rotate the torso around. Find the opposite way, opposite leg. Set that foot down. Take the hip circles again in the opposite direction. Just trying to give a little break to the leg in between, the standing leg. And then the opposite leg, circle in the opposite direction. I don't know about you, but my hips are cracking like crazy. And then let 2 feet find the earth. Soften the knees and take some generous hip circles all the way around. And then circle the opposite way. And then pausing in the middle. Elbows swing. Maybe all the way around a few times. Good, shrug the shoulders. You choose, you can do this one at a time or circle them at the same time. And circle the opposite direction as well. Lovely, chin comes down towards chest and then you rotate the head all the way around. Hands come in front of you, rotate the wrists. If it's possible for you to do this with the arms raised, consider that. If not, just let them be by your sides. Circle the other way. Good, open and close the fists, the fingers a few times to make fists. And then you're back in your Tadasana pose. All right, we're gonna make our way onto hands and knees. If hands and knees isn't a great option for you, you'll come to find a seated position and I'll instruct you from there. From tabletop position, starting with some cat and cow rolls. So toes can tuck under or feet are flat. I want you to just see how it feels in your low back, which feels appropriate for you. And then drop the belly, take the gaze and the tailbone up and round into your spine. And just flow like that. If you're seated, you're taking the same action of moving the heart space forward and then expanding into the back of the chest, the back of the heart space. Consider it just with hands on knees. Move through this a few more times. And perhaps it turns into hip circles all the way around to one side. You could circle back the opposite direction as well. Taking what you need here. So those hips feel fluid and ready for some opening. And then pause in your tabletop position. Get strong and anchored here. That low belly continues to pull in and up so that the core is really supporting you in being nice and strong. Take your right arm, reach it all the way up overhead, and then thread it underneath. We're not staying. Inhale, sweep arm high. Exhale, bring it through. Same thing for my friends seated in a chair. Just take it out to the side and across the body. Keep flowing with this. We're so used to doing it 3 times and then staying. I want you to just keep finding that action of opening up here. Two more times. This time, inhale, sweep it up high. Drop the hand behind the head for a moment. See if there's room to move the elbow up a little bit higher. And then curl that elbow all the way into the opposite elbow. Pause here. Pull the low belly in, round the back of the heart space. Inhale, take it high. And then this time, exhale, thread it through and stay. Thread it through and stay. Now your left hand can stay right by you. The fingertips could start to walk forward. Fingertips could start to walk a little bit more to the center of the mat or even to the opposite corner. Work to keep the hips square. And breathe into the side body stretch that you have here. The more that you square the hips, the deeper into this stretch you'll find yourself. 2 more breaths here. And then walk that hand back in if you've moved it. Reach the right arm all the way up overhead. Swim it forward. Listen, right arm is forward. Reach the left leg long behind you. Left leg is long. Perhaps the toes lift off of the earth. Just stay here. Find your stability. Find that groundedness in that place that comes from your center, is staying anchored in your truth and who you are. Another breath comes in. And then exhale, release it down. Good, returning to cat and cow rolls. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze and tail up. Exhale, round into the spine. Keep moving with this pattern. Again, choose the toe option that works for you. Choose seated variation if that is better in your body. It's all about the choices that we can make. And then returning to a center position. We're going to take that same chest opening, heart opening, shoulder opening on the opposite side. So your right hand roots, left arm sweeps up to the sky and threads underneath. Inhale to sweep. Exhale, thread through. Good, keep going. Seated version, take it out to the side and across the body. Allow yourself to just see if you can just feel the movement, get a little bit lost in the fluidity of it here. And then 2 more times. Inhale to reach. Exhale, thread through. Inhale, reach. Exhale, thread. This time you'll inhale, reach. Drop the hand behind the head. The elbow lifts up. And then pull the elbow down towards the opposite elbow. Pull the low belly in and up. And then release. Inhale, sweep it high. And thread it all the way through. Opposite cheek, side of the head comes to your mat. Consider walking the right hand forward, maybe across the top of your mat, and breathe here. And then pay attention to the nuances of your body. Does the belly feel like maybe sitting this one out? A little bit of tautness, a little firmness here will keep the low back safe. And then if the right hand has moved across, bring it back underneath the shoulder. Push into that. Reach the left arm up. Swim it forward. Reach pretty vigorously with the fingertips. Right foot steps behind. Toes can stay on the earth or can elevate off the earth. Take a generous breath in and a breath out. Turning to tabletop position. All right, hands will walk forward about a handprint. Tuck the toes under. Lift the hips high. We're coming into downward facing dog. As you're ready and the hamstrings start to find some length, you could straighten out one leg and then the other. Take it one at a time. If you're taking a seated variation of this downward facing dog, if there's room for you to move to a wall and bring your hands close to the wall, that can be a really nice stretch all the way through the body. So just be Seat on the chair still, hands reaching towards a wall. All right, we're all gonna meet in a forward fold. Chair friends, chest drapes over the thighs. If you were in a downward facing dog on your mat, walk hands to feet or feet to hands, draping yourself forward here. Soften the knees and take a little sway side to side. And then again, seated or standing, bend through that right knee a little bit more. Left leg may straighten a bit. Place your left hand, you may come up onto spider tip fingers, and take your right arm, sweep it all the way up overhead. Breathe here. Soften the knees again, forward fold once more. And then taking it to the opposite side. Bend the right knee, left leg straightens. Take your left arm, sweep it all the way up overhead. And comes back down. Making your way up to a stand, just walk your hands up your legs. Seated or standing, bring yourself all the way back up. Shoulders roll up to the ears and then down your back, and you're in mountain pose, Tadasana. Doesn't that feel good? It's like when you come up after that, it's like, Inhale to reach your arms all the way up overhead. And then with soft knees, you can pull your hands through heart center and forward fold. Hands will come to your thighs to elevate the heart space forward. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up overhead. And then hands to heart center. We're going to build on this. Inhale, sweep high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, twist right arms, expand. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale brings you all the way up, arms lift. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Hands to heart. We're going to go through that whole sequence again. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, elevate the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale brings you up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach high. Hands to heart. Pause here. Breathing in. Breathing out. 2 more rounds of lion's breath. Inhale. Open the mouth. Let it out. Our hands will come down to your hips. You'll send your right foot back. You'll be in a lunge. Seated version. Let the left side of the body stay connected onto your chair if that's possible for you, and just send that right leg long. Standing version, you're taking the same thing. Now bend into that front leg. The knee can stack over the hips. If you're taking the standing version and you'd like a little bit more support and stability, feel free to drop that opposite knee down. And then take some little pulses here, forward and back into that lunge, that hip opener. If you want to add some arms in, the arms could sweep up and down as you find these little pulses here. If you're in that standing posture, everybody drops the back knee down. Right hand roots on the earth. That feels a little bit too aggressive to reach all the way down to the earth. Just bring your hand up to your opposite thigh. Left arm sweeps up overhead, comes behind the ear, and you'll find a twist. Left elbow faces up to the sky here. Engage the back glute to keep that hip flexor on the right really opening up and spacious here. Breath comes in and out. Left arm sweeps up to the sky, comes back to your front thigh to elevate the heart space forward. Take your gaze forward, hands to hips, off of that back knee. Gaze stays nice and steady and strong. Step the back foot up to meet your front. Good. Push down evenly through both feet here. A hand to the low belly, hand to the low back, as that reminder to lengthen the tailbone in, which helps to elevate the heart space up. Crown of the head continues to lift. From here, take a breath in, reach arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Hands to thighs, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Good, we're gonna flow again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale brings you all the way to stand. Look up, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Hands return to hips. Send your left foot back. You're in a lunge here. You be high on the ball of that back foot. Drop the knee back down, or take a version on a chair that gives you more stability. And then again, you take little pulses here. Little pulses forward and back. Add the arms in if that helps you find a little bit of a deeper expression here. And then your left hand will come down to the earth. We'll all drop that back knee down. Hand is down. If that feels too aggressive for you, that hand can come onto the thigh. Right hand comes behind the head. Let the hand stay soft here. Open the elbow up and use that to find your twist. Now you work here. Your work is to bring that knee, the front knee, over the ankle. And make sure the twist is coming from moving the whole spine long and letting the heart space open. Take your gaze down. Hands come to hips. Move your gaze forward. Find something in front of you that's not moving. Come onto the ball of that back foot. Keep the chest elevated and lifted. Step up. Tadasana pose. Breath comes in and out. Let's find a little bit more side body opening. Inhale to reach arms all the way up overhead. Let your right hand clasp your left wrist and take a stretch over to the side. Now consider really anchoring down pretty vigorously through the feet here. Think about that foot opening that we did earlier. Take that activation, strong and steady legs, and then maybe use that to move the hips a little bit further to the left. Gaze can come right up, right about to where that bicep would be, or up to the sky. And then inhale, strong legs, bring you back up through center. And we'll take it right to the opposite side. Start by finding that stretch from your right hip up through that shoulder area, all the way across the arm. And then with those strong and steady legs, maybe there's room to move the hips a little bit more to the right. Breathing deeply into this space. It's the same posture if you're seated. If adding the arm variation is too aggressive, just bring the arms down by the sides. Focus on the body lengthening here. Breath comes in. Breath out. Inhale brings you through center. And then exhale, release your hands down by your sides. Good. Just move the body a few times here. Any sort of organic movement. I've been trying to incorporate some of these swings into all of our practices. You know, when you're a kid, you're doing this, and it just feels like kind of like you have no control over it. It's just your body flailing. And I think so much right now about this control issue. We all want to clasp onto something. And you're in your control here. You choose how big you make these twists. You choose how aggressive. You choose if you find that little slap to the back of the body. Take what you need. And then return to your Tadasana pose. We're going to move into a balance pose with a little bit of a twist. Now, seated friends, we're all going to take a version of one leg lifting up slightly. So perhaps there's maybe a block, a stool. I'm not above saying a dog or a cat, but something that you can just rest your front foot on. All right, we're all going to start with a version of this. I'm actually going to use the chair a little bit of a different way. So you're welcome to find this at home, or just do it without the chair. But your right foot is going to lift up. It could lift a little or a lot. We work on not having the knee too much above the hip height here, so that you can square the hips off. Peek down at your left foot. Are your toes relatively facing forward? More importantly, is your knee facing forward? And then we're going to find a twist version with this. Your left hand comes to the outside of your right thigh. Right arm can reach back behind you. Now for sure, I've got more stability by using a chair underneath my lifted foot. If you have that foot just lifted up in space, flex the foot like crazy. That will give you more stability. If you like, both arms could expand wide, particularly if your front foot is elevated in space. Takes a lot of core stability to find this twist. Beautiful. Bring it back through center and return to your Tadasana pose. Nice work. All right, opposite foot is going to lift. Left foot lifts, the right foot anchors down. To make sure that you have that strong and steady base, activate the muscles in the leg without locking out the knee. If I hyperextend my knee, I can feel the strain come into the joint. So a little bit of softness there. Push your hips down, elevate the heart space forward. Left knee is coming in front of that hip. Right hand can cross over the body. Left arm can reach behind you to find that twist. I find it a little bit easier to open my chest if I let the palm open. So see if that works for you. And again, you choose a variation here. So maybe it's both arms lifted and reaching wide. Stay strong and steady in your gaze. Mind stays anchored right on that focal point. One more breath in. And a breath out. And then come back through center, hands to hips and release. Good. Just take a little bit of a shift side to side, side to side. Good. All right, I'm gonna move my chair off to the side. We're gonna make our way down onto the mat on your bellies. So one way to do this is to step to the back of your mat. Arms sweep all the way up overhead. With soft knees, forward fold all the way down. Walk it out. Meet me in a downward facing dog. And then take your time. Ripple forward to plank pose. Tap the knees down. Take a breath in. And then lower all the way to the earth. Let's pause in crocodile pose for a minute. Stack the forearms and let the head rest. For my friends who are seated in a chair, you can find this same action right here. If you have a pillow, you could bring it here and rest your head. What we're moving into next is heart openers, but let yourself just be held here for a moment. We're going to work this activation again of coming across the body for a subtle twist. If you're seated, consider bringing hands by your sides. Open the heart space forward. If there's a back of your chair, you can push up into that to accelerate the heart opening a little bit more. From here, you might consider reaching one arm up overhead at a time. If you're on the earth, I'm going to flow a little bit with you. From your belly down position, move your hands back by your sides like you're in cobra pose, but come up onto spider tip fingers. Elevate the heart space forward and lower it down. Inhale to lift, and then exhale lowers. Breath in and out. Strong and active legs. Consider walking your hands forward. Push into the tops of the feet. Push into the spider tip fingers and elevate forward. Now think about getting longer in the body as opposed to how high you can lift. And then could you float your right arm up? Maybe the left leg. Set it down. Float left arm. Right leg. Set it down. Right arm, left leg. Set it down. Left arm, right leg. Set it down. Walk the hands back in. Push up to cobra pose. And then lower all the way down. Arms come long by your sides and just rest for a moment. And then hands come by your low ribs again. Start to lift up a bit. Push into the legs and then bring the hands forward to come into Sphinx pose. The glutes engage here, so the tush gives a little squeeze. Keep pushing down through the legs. Lengthen the tailbone. Good. Sphinx can also be done in a chair. Again, you could push the elbows, the forearms down into something that's a little bit sturdier, maybe even a table. And then take your hands a little bit wider than your mat. Come up onto the spider tip fingers again if it's available to you, and elevate the heart space more. Good. Keep breathing deeply here. And then slowly lower all the way down and come onto your back. Onto your back, we'll close with some supine twists. Seated twists if you're staying in your chair. Arms can come into goal post or a big wide T if you have room. And then allow your knees to sway side to side. And if we talk about having room, I've seen people do the 6-foot tape measure situation. Whatever works for you. Drop the knees over to the right. And pause here. The gaze can certainly go to the left as one way to deepen the twist experience. You could also pick up your right ankle a little bit, cross it over your left thigh, just above the knee really, and flex that foot. It just gives a little bit more anchoring. If you try that version and it's not something that lands in your body, simply release out, come back into the staggered legs. If you've taken that version of the ankle over, just drop it down and then bring both thighs to connect and snuggle them up a little bit closer to your chest. See if you can get the action of the knees coming out of the hips, the ankles stacked under the knees, the toes in line with the ankles. And be in your twist here. For me, this twist is always the wringing out of everything that I don't need. And then protect yourself coming out of this. So give the belly a little bit of a squeeze here to bring the knees back up through center. And once more, return to feet being about mat distance apart. Take a little sway side to side. And then next time the knees come to the left, you'll pause here. Pause here. And again, that invitation to draw the opposite ankle over that thigh. Gaze can go away from the knees. And then release that ankle if it's stacked. Draw your thighs together so that the thighs stack one on top of another. Ankles in line with the hips, toes in line with the ankles. And breathe into this twist a little bit more into the back space as opposed to the hip space. And then again, engage in the abdominals a little bit. Squeeze the knees, bring them back through center. And then wrap yourself in a big hug here. So allow the knees to come up towards the chest. Pull everything into a tight little ball. And then set your body long for Shavasana. Legs extend away from you, arms rest by your sides. This is the traditional corpse pose or Shavasana. But what's really important is for you to take a variation that works for you. So if you're more comfortable on your belly, on your side, or coming to seated, take that variation. Trust that I'll let you know when it's time to come out of Shavasana. And so all you need to do is rest. And here, allow yourself to just feel the body connected with the earth. Feel the air around you. Sky above you supports you as the earth below holds you. Invite in some movements into the body in whatever way feels natural to you. And in your time, you'll make your way up to a comfortable seated position. We'll meet here. Let's meet here. Let's take one big stretch all the way up overhead. Reach it up high. And tracing it down to heart. Let the eyes land somewhere. Continuing on in our reading from About Ahimsa. I have found 3 ways of thinking that shift me out of a feeling of powerlessness: practicing gratitude, trust in the moment, and thinking about others. When I change my approach, I am out of the dark tunnel of powerlessness. Suddenly, in the light, I see many options. For instance, if something happens at an inconvenient time, I can choose to be grateful that I'm safe. If I get a call at an inconvenient time, I can choose to be grateful that I have a phone. I can turn the whole situation into something that results in calling an old friend and trusting that somehow all is well. We'll close here with gratitude for one another. Gratitude for self for making time for your practice today. And inviting in blessings for all of our communities, wherever they may be, as well as our collective community practicing together at Yoga Home, and blessings and peace and safety for all in our world. You're welcome to join for an Om. Take a breath in. Om. Namaste. So thank you, dear friends. It's so good to be with you today. A reminder, so Maura and I did a quick swapperoo for today, and so Maura will be with you tomorrow on Sunday, and then we will have our schedule up online.